This is the Goldshell E-KA1M. It's an ASIC miner, a passive income device. It's a purpose-built machine, a custom computer that only mines one mining algorithm. This Goldshell miner is a new series release from this miner manufacturer. The very interesting part about this is the built-in power supply and the associated power capabilities. What I mean by that is that you can run this on any outlet in your house, most likely here in the US and well beyond. It supports the voltages from 100 voltage to 240 voltage. So you do not need necessarily an upgraded electric circuit to run this device. And before you account for the electricity bill, and by the way, it doesn't use all that much electricity, it mines an impressive $201 a month. So that's almost $7 daily, or over $2,000 in passive income over the next year. Before you account for the electricity bill, we'll talk more about that. But for me, this definitely earns more than it burns. So hey, what's up? I'm Vosk here on the VoskCoin YouTube channel. We've been buzzing around the VoskCoin mining farm. I've been working on building out. Today we're going to be reviewing the Goldshell E-KA1M. I was pretty intrigued to get one of these miners in hand, as this is a whole new series released from them. And I'm wondering, is this going to keep at home mining alive? It's about 2 G's. That's what this costs. I got mine in from ASIC Marketplace. Huge shout out to them for making today's video possible. We are an affiliate with ASIC Marketplace. If you like the content, please use our link to support the channel. If you do not use our link and only use our sweet coupon code, which is best in class down in the video description below, then we get no credit, and that totally sucks, and it doesn't support us making more content in the future. This miner mines Kaspa, or the K heavy hash mining algorithm, at 5.5 terahash a second, consuming 1,800 watts. It also has a low power mode, which is very useful depending on your electric circuit or if you're just chasing efficiency. And let's talk about that efficiency. So at 1,800 watts, right? And we're mining at 5.5 terahash a second. So we're spending 327 watts per terahash. Or we could be running 1,100 watts, and we would be spending 289 watts per terahash, achieving a higher efficiency. So while our day-to-day mining profitability before we account for the electricity bill is higher at the 5.5 terahash a second, if we have basically a bad electric rate, we could be more efficient and then potentially still able to earn more than we burn in electric cost for longer with that low power mode. Also, if you have other things on the circuit that you can't or don't want to remove, reducing that power consumption by 700 watts is pretty substantial, especially if you're running this on 120 voltage, because remember, if it's 120 voltage versus say 240 voltage, you're using a much higher amperage there. I mean, like literally double. So something to keep in mind. If you're like, whoa, dude, what are you talking about? Please watch our electricity guide or our full, very detailed 1 hour how to start mining with ASIC miners video guide, where I break down all this stuff. But just to remind you, it's not that crazy. It's not that hard. If you made it out of high school, you can do this. And even if you didn't make it out of high school, honestly, I can still probably walk you through this. You can still probably do this. How much is this thing really earning? So it's on, I have mine on IceRiver right now, so it's automatically mining Kaspa, and it's getting turned into Bitcoin automatically, I should say, with their mining pool. $6.10 is what it's reporting here. And this number changes all the time. I've looked at it numerous times today, and it's fluctuated from around like $6 to like $6.74. So that's pretty good earnings, but we really need to talk about how much is this truly costing me to run. Before then though, let's talk about the coin that it mines, Kaspa. Kaspa is a very profitable coin to mine. It's the third most profitable coin to mine in the world, and it's hit numerous all-time highs over the last year, which has helped it maintain a very high level of relevancy. Unfortunately, the amount of coins mined per month on Kaspa reduces every month, and that's just going to continue to go down, as you can see here with this chart, and you can model that all yourself. Furthermore, Kaspa continues to become more and more difficult to mine. looking at the network hash rate, it keeps going up. That means more people or more miners or more powerful miners are all trying to mine the same coins. Like, we're all trying to eat the same pizza every month. And the more people trying to eat that pizza, the harder it is gonna be to get a slice. Just understand that and be aware of it. It's important because it changes the dynamic of basically, the return we get with this device. So it's projected to mine $6.71 per day in Kaspa. And if you have a 10 cent per kilowatt hour electricity bill, it would cost you an estimated $4.32 a day to operate on the full power 5.5 terahash a second mode, which means that you would be left with $2.39 worth of Kaspa, or like say in my case, Bitcoin, after you account for that electricity bill, which breaks out to about $873 over the next year if nothing changed, but of course it will. So let's log into the device here. I remoted into my mining farm, and to gain access, the default password is just 1 through 9. You can unlock it there. You can see the reported performance, all the fan speeds, projection rate, how long it's been online for, hardware version, firmware version. All these things are relevant, right? Again, I have it on NiceHash, just have that one pool set up there. Hash rate mode, low power mode, one algorithm. Pretty simple, pretty straightforward. If we go into the debug menu, it does not give us chip temps, which I was surprised by. You just go to your IP address that you punched into your browser to log in, and then you add debug to the end. We can look at the performance here on where we're getting hardware errors. And across the board, this miner is performing pretty well. And here's the really notable thing. It's performing much better than my Goldshell KA Box Pro. The KA Box Pro was clearly just pushed more than it was really capable of doing, which has led to lower performance and will, of course, in my opinion, lead to much lower reliability long term. So I'm very happy to see them switch up their designs. They've also released this whole Plus series, which is like a chunky, LeChonk version of mining rigs here. And they've also released additional Goldshell miners in this Echo series for ALF, Dogecoin, and I really bet we're going to see a Radiant Echo series release here probably any day now. So if you've been thinking about getting multiple of these, you could set them up in a very cool, nice, clean manner. Let's talk about that efficiency though, right? So let's compare it first with their own unit, right? The Goldshell KA Box Pro. This was their previous Kaspa miner release. This release was their best Kaspa miner that they had offered, and this was pretty profitable for a little while, and it's not that great anymore. You can get them pretty cheap now too, about $600 or less shipped. And we take this 1.6 terahash a second, right, consuming 600 watts of electricity. So let's 3x it. That would get us to 1,800 watts, and it would be mining at 4.8 terahash a second. So the difference here is an additional 0.7 terahash a second, or about 1/2 of a KA Box Pro in performance with the exact same power consumption. It's really kind of the same math. 600 nearly times 3 is like $1,800. So this does carry a bit of a premium, but dollar for dollar, this one is more interesting from the efficiency point of view. And it's also just, at a glance here, it's clearly, in my opinion, going to be a better miner and have more longevity. Are these actually worth buying? I think that these really fit a niche, right? And it's, I can't add a 240 voltage circuit. Or this is the biggest one I can run for the budget I have, things like that. But the bottom line is, right, for $2,000, IceRiver had insane price cuts on their devices, and their miners are worse. Okay, their miners are worse than the Bitmain Kaspa miners, which is another miner manufacturer if you don't follow all this crazy stuff. And by the way, IceRiver quality, in my opinion, is not good. In my experience, not my opinion, my experience, it's been not good. An IceRiver KS5L at 12 terahash a second for 3,400 watts can be had for $2,000. So to directly compare that, right, for $2,000, this is nearly $2,000, and the other one mines for a little bit less than double the electricity, and it has a little bit more than double the hash rate. So they're similar, right? But I think myself and most other people would just opt for the bigger one. But let me point out something very clear. The quiet factor on this is pretty cool, and the fact that you can plug it in any outlet in a house in the US is pretty freaking cool. These are interesting, but you know, Kaspa is just an ultra competitive market here. So we'll just have to see really where this goes. They are clearly pushing down this path. To see releases for a Dogecoin miner in this form factor and an ALF miner in this form factor already is interesting. Take another sample of daily profitability. We see $5.94 a day there. You can actually contrast this right over here with my KS5L, which is mining about $15.67 per day right now. My KS3M, only like one of the hash boards still works in that, so that's not exactly a true comparison there, but it's realistic is the truth. So yeah, that's my initial review on the Goldshell Echo series, in particular the Kaspa miner. I'm glad that I got one into review because it is better than I expected. Truly, like I'm more impressed with it than I expected. I'm also feeling weak when I lift it. It's pretty heavy. It's a very dense device, so I guess we just got some big heat sinks in there to really kind of help facilitate more cooling. I like the integrated power supply. I like this. I just want to see better returns on these devices. I want to see higher mining profitability or lower prices. Because as it stands, this year has been a lot of very expensive miners that their profitability has been dropping very quickly. And then new releases that are making them less and less viable in the long term, you know, from across the board in the mining sector. So hey, I'm Vosk on the VoskCoin YouTube channel. Please support the companies that support us so we can keep doing this, and please just subscribe. And if you don't mind, hit the thumbs up and leave a comment with your thoughts, and we'll close this out with 10 seconds of Tails, our CK, our Chief Kaspa officer. I know Dennis is gonna like that one. And yeah, thanks for tuning in. Hope to see you on the next video.